What's up, dudes? Welcome back to another episode of Rhomas Men's Team. Pretty simple. We are a group of guys helping each other make progress towards each other's goals. If you're new to the channel, awesome and welcome. If you want to help support the channel and join our pro team, head over to rhomasteam.com/pro, where you can contribute to us on a donation basis. We also give you access to exclusive content, mastermind groups, etc., etc. So anyway, hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you on the team. All right, dudes. Sorry for the delay. We are live. Mr. Ray, what is up, brother? How you doing?
Life is good, Wes. Busy week here in Toronto. There's like a big art fair, which is just like a, think of a like closet technology convention in a big convention center where booths all have different kind of like state-of-the-art coat hangers or whatever. That's it, basically that, except beautiful works of art in a convention center with booths. Each gallery has a different booth. So that opened last night, and so I was just doing laps of that fair, networking and taking pictures of art, sending it to clients. Hey, I think you'll like this. I was with a friend of mine, and he just said he loved watching me work just because like of my encyclopedic memory for names and faces sometimes, or just otherwise names, or just otherwise faces, and just fearlessly going up to them and saying, I see you at all these things. What's your name? Or, good to see you again, Mr. Marks or whatever.
Hell yeah.
And he just said he loved watching me work. And it's, I'm not bragging, but it's like, not really, but it's the same as like when a friend of mine said, when he saw me through the glass at my art gallery, like talking to someone about art, he said like, this is the job you're meant to do. That's how, like, yeah. I had one of those days last night, where it, like one of those days yesterday where it hardly feels like work,
Yeah. You're in your zone of competence.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. How often would you say you are there throughout the week? Like what percentage?
In my zone of competence?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, Wes, that what I just described is the glamorous part of the job, the fun part of the job, where the rubber hits the road, where I can really make enough money to pay for my employees, to pay for my overhead, to fund the whole operation successfully, to profit from it. That's the unglamorous part, right? That is the part where I don't really have natural affinity. The accounting, the following up, so I like to say, or when I'm describing my job to people, I like to say it's about 10% of talking about art, selling art, talking to artists, that part of it that makes me spiritually fulfilled.
Yeah. I
also say to people, like, most people's job is just emails, meetings, phone calls. It's just that if you love the 10%, it's 90% emails, meetings, phone calls, but if you love that 10% so much, it makes all the other crap worth it, So my zone of competence isn't really in that 90%, that 90%, right? That part of the iceberg that's huge.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a way of skewing that.
Practice.
I wonder if there's a way of skewing that. So for instance,
there is.
Yeah.
Like hiring the right people who are good at the other 90 is my first thought.
Yeah. Well, either hiring people or, for example, if you can somehow lengthen the sales cycle, but it's automated. So like some sort of YouTube channel, something like that, where you're teaching, where I'm going to assume that those emails, follow-ups, and phone calls are probably because somebody is, only at level 3 buying desire, and they need to be at level 10. So I'm going to assume.
Or I just ran into them. For example, like realistically, I just bumped into them, had a really good interaction, and I say, do you mind if I send you some stuff about what I got going on in my gallery, right? If they're at a 0, or if in that interaction I show them pictures, then they're like, oh, that's cool. So then they're at a 3.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So I'm wondering if it could be something along the lines of like you have a digital art show, you show up once a week, twice a week, or whatever on YouTube or wherever, and capture a really great, high quality video where you teach on something. Well, now you're saying you might be capturing those 20 people who are ready to buy now. They're in the market, they have a burning hot desire, and they just now need a product to buy.
You know what's funny, Wes? Yesterday, I brought this really rich couple around the fair, and then they took me in a group. We organized a group to go around the fair and then go to the restaurant that they own and have dinner. And it was like a heavily subsidized dinner. Like we paid the owner's fee, which is maybe just like the food cost and not the labor and not the profit or anything. So It was great. And Jen was talking to Jen, the wife of the restaurant. Lovely, beautiful, kind, nice, cool restaurant owning couple. She said in front of an art dealer in his booth, she said, I look at Ray's Instagram to decide what I like in the art world.
Hell yeah.
Which is kind of like exactly what you're talking about, right? And I said, wow, Jen, you do that, eh? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, and you've never credited me, huh? You just call up the gallery and you're like, hey, I like this painting. Well, like, nice, Jen. Thanks a lot. And so I was kind of ribbing her a little bit, but that was another really nice compliment to be paid. Like my friend saying he loved the way of watching me work, like that was another really nice compliment that she said that validates that all the social media I'm doing is not just wasting time and bragging or you know what I mean, or it's actually reaching art buyers.
Oh, without doubt. So then I guess it's a matter of, is it just a factor of doing more, or is it
doing it with intention? It's automating it, and then it's also having that uncomfortable call to action at the end, saying DM me for more details.
I was going to ask you that. Yeah,
because right now basically it's just things Ray loves as he flits through the art world, like a little pixie or fairy or something. And so
what's the holdup? What's the mental block for you?
The mental block is I don't want to be thirsty. I don't want to. It's just it's like I don't want to admit that I'm actually an art professional, which of course everybody knows already, and that's why they value my advice, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you know the name for it, but it's this kind of it's just this kind of insecurity about I'm trying to be too cool and not be super obvious that this is more than just Ray's top 10 picks. That is actually Ray's that you're getting a little nibble of Ray's professional consulting services.
Yeah, nobody wants to be known as a salesman. I think that there's something there, So do you mind if I throw something out to you?
Mm-hmm.
So I think what might help is some sort of bridge scripting that lightens the load. So something along the lines.
Sorry, just before you continue, I'm thinking of Jordan, who wants to get into fitness through and using his Instagram as a television set to show people his amazing transformation of what he does to his body, right?
Yep.
So please continue.
Oh yeah. Well, this would hit everybody for a request. So everybody who's listening to this can take this and use it for whatever request, because generally people, especially men, have difficulty asking for things. So a really good line that I like that the Charisma on Command guys use at the end of their videos is, hey, if you want more of this, then head over to X, Y, and Z location. But either way, right, hope you enjoyed the video, something like that. So it's that either way thing. And it's the tonality. Hey, Ray, I'm going to invite you to my party. I'm having it regardless of whether or not you show up. If you don't want to show up, all good. Either way, I'll see you soon. Something like that.
So there's more art collecting tips over at my website, mcagallery.ca. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this little conversation.
Yep, exactly. Now, if you want sort of like a next level sort of a deal, going to the abyss of a website, usually people's websites are not optimized for sales.
Mine is not. There are currently no art collecting tips on my website.
Yeah. So it's something along the lines of like you're almost sending them from one purgatory state to another purgatory state, versus if you set up, and we can go through. Actually, you know what, Ray? I'm talking to a few clients right now who want to get into the thought leadership space, like they're successful and so on. So I might be putting together a little group to do that if you want to be considered in that like beta.
I would love that because part of I hired my daughter's French tutor. She just finished her business BA at the Rotman School of Management at the University of Toronto, very prestigious. And we did a branding exercise. I might have talked about this with you on one of the other sessions, like where and part of the branding is like brand position on my gallery, and then brand position of me as thought leader, the way you think of Steve Jobs and Apple together, the way you think of Elon Musk and SpaceX together, right? So like and you see it and it's really tacky when it's done badly.
Yes.
You know, like where the CEO or like when an unlikable used car salesman is on his used car commercial, you know, and like maybe he's a nice guy in person, but like he's like, do you know what I mean? Like he doesn't come across as a thought leader from like Fusillo Chevy, you know, or whatever. And so when it's done badly, it's bad advertising. But when it's done well, like, and I mean, I don't support the My Pillow guy, you know, the kind of Trump. But that maybe is an example of almost good. Like obviously Steve Jobs, Bezos are interchangeable with their brand. And the My Pillow guy is interchangeable with his brand. So that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. So I actually think, and this is good for the guys to learn as well, and you can use this in normal life, right? Like developing your own brand of like you. I think the really hard way of doing that is doing it off pure charisma. Yeah. Because that is a super, super highly technical art that seems like it's just like it takes years and years and years and years and years to
develop. That's kind of what I'm doing. And it's not, I leave all kinds of gains and wins on the table because it's just a formula that I make up in my head on the spot with no script, with no follow-up format, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So honestly, I think the way of bridging that gap is teaching. And I mean that sincerely and like authentic. And Ray, you'd be phenomenal. You're great with your words. You love the field that you're in. If you literally, and that can go on forever. I'll not name certain names, but there's certain influencers out there, just out of respect, I won't say their names, who go off of almost pure charisma. They keep on repeating basically the same things, the same mantras, and then eventually it's like, yes, they'll get new subscribers, but it's off of like adrenaline, and then eventually you realize like, oh, there's no substance to this. So you
and I guess you don't need to keep watching if you're just getting the same message every time.
Exactly.
Can you define thought leader for the guys? Because like, we're not talking about Einstein. We're not talking about St. Augustine here, right? Every one of us can be a thought leader.
Oh yeah.
In our chosen niche, our chosen field.
Oh man, that's why this is so important for the guys to hear. So whether it be from all the guys on here, so like Dima, Lucas, Dakota,
Jordan, who has had an amazing fitness journey. Think of Kaizen, who is learning all the digital skills necessary to be a valuable member of the new digital economy. Like think of Lucas, who also wants that niche of the courtroom videographer. So
hey dudes, sorry for the interruption here. Just wanted to let you know, if you want to join our pro team, go to romasteam.com/pro. You can help support the channel. You will also get access to exclusive content masterminds, one-on-one sessions, etc. All right, back to the episode.
One way to really bulletproof your reputation and your sellability, right, or your marketability, is to market yourself as a thought leader. So please define thought leader.
Yeah, honestly, the way that I would view it, just succinctly, is a teacher. Like if you just view yourself as that, because I think the term has now gotten skewed between like influencer and all this kind of stuff, and a lot of those people again are running off of like the choo-choo train of charisma, and how loud, how bold can you be, and how like entertaining you can be. I think entertaining is way more difficult than educational, or like way more. Like I'll give you an example. So Andrew Huberman is blowing up right now on the internet. He is not entertaining. Like if I had to say, like on a scale of 0 to 10, entertaining, and I love.
No offense, great scientist.
Yeah, I love him. He's great.
Yeah,
but that's an example.
Very one note.
Exactly.
One note, right?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, it's actually when you establish yourself to be a superior teacher, which like if you're getting caught up in that, it's just understanding the mechanics of something at a deeper level, which most people only understand things at like a 2-inch level. So if you just go to an 8-inch level, you'll be able to, there's a delta there. You'll be able to teach people. So the funny thing is, the better the teacher you are, the more entertaining you can be off of like not very sophisticated entertaining tactics. So for instance, Andrew Huberman, every once in a while, will mention his dog who's sleeping over in the corner.
Caesar or Napoleon or something, right?
Yeah, it's something. It's some sort of figurehead name like that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. Why? Because one of the things in comedy is when you break a pattern, and you break up, like, so he's got a serious pattern, then he breaks it when he talks about his dog snoring over in the corner. As silly as that sounds, versus if he tried the other way to be 95% funny and entertaining and charismatic, it would not work. So if you're looking for a model for this, anybody who's listening.
So wait, the dog thing is kind of relatable.
Oh, totally.
I think
absolutely.
Maybe that is the ingredient that is being like kind of seasoned, that's seasoning his videos, whether intentionally or not. It adds some humanity. Like I was talking to a young lady who kind of knows more about this thing than I, and she said, like, if you go to a gallery or a museum with Thea, add her into the pictures to show relatability, to show your humanity. And it's not just a kind of like a night school course.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Without a doubt. So I think that's the thing. So if you think about it like this, if you're trying to be valuable to other human beings, whether to be to your family, to your clients, to the internet, whatever, go in with a teaching attitude. And I mean it sincerely. And just think about this model. Most people want to know what time it is. Like, hey, can you tell me what time it is? That's not very valuable, right? Because most people have a watch. But if you can tell them how the watch works, you will have infinite content to talk about. This watch, like the Apple Watch compared to the new version of the Apple Watch, like if you can actually teach the specs of things, and whether it be in art or whether it be in technology, whether it be in finance, whether it be whatever, which also assumes you've also studied up on it yourself. But the crazy thing is, man, it's kind of one of those things like a Catch Me If You Can situation, where if you've ever seen that movie, the way he built, like when he became a teacher, he's like, oh, I just have to stay one chapter ahead of the students. So you do not have to become this thought leader that's Albert Einstein, like you were saying earlier, Ray. It's just be one chapter ahead of your audience, and then you can serve them the difference of what they know relative to what you know, and you can do that forever. And then, man, like it is such an honor and a journey to do that, because that can happen in perpetuity, and you gain the skills along the way, right? Then you can learn how to storytell a little bit, or you can learn how to make people laugh a little bit. But if you start with the nucleus of teaching, you will forever, like you will never have a lack of clients ever, because very few people are willing to go and learn and then have the balls to go out there and teach. Very, very few people.
Amazing.
And Ray, you're perfect for it.
I'm thinking of two things. I'm thinking of that old joke: those who can't teach, those who can't do teach. And those who can't teach phys ed, or something like that. Yeah. But not at all true, as it turns out.
Well, and especially now with the internet, because the internet bridges the gap. Like the Andrew Hubermans of the world used to be tucked away into a classroom or a research lab, but now because there's no gap between him and the rest of the world, it's just a computer. Now he can do both.
And if you look at the incredible success of someone like Joe Rogan, again, there's humor, there's relatability, because he's a bit of a, like, obviously a very smart guy, but has a kind of a doofus, or kind of like a, you know, musclehead kind of
just
exterior.
like a bro type of guy.
Yeah. But those long format conversations are teaching. There's no question.
Without.
Where they just explore every dark corner of a subject.
Yep.
Right, over hours. So I love that. You don't have. I love that you do, like, right, like one of the dogs here who maybe just has a high school degree, or just has a college degree, or like me, never had a job more than a year, and really didn't find his kind of place until like till he turned 40. Like, it's interesting. Like, a thought leader, like, are you saying you don't need to have your 10,000 hours, like, to be a thought leader? You can, like, let people join you on your journey as you get to your 10,000 hours?
Without it, dude, 10 hours. Like, think about an hour. Think about how much, if I didn't know about a subject, actually right now you could teach me. All there needs to be is a delta, a difference between where I'm at and where I want to go, and can you help me get there? That's it. It doesn't have to be a 1,000,000-mile journey. It could be a 1-inch journey. Hey, Wes, I know you're interested in art. Let me teach you about this little thing right here. Boom.
So what's your challenge to me in the 7 minutes we have remaining? Like, what is your challenge to me in terms of thought leadership, teaching? Like, what is the practice?
Yep. So my holistic challenge to you would be create one video from A to Z, and it doesn't have to be long. Anywhere from 1 minute to 10 minutes. And in there, develop a formula, like a structure, right? Like, I'll give you an example. If I were in your business, probably one thing I would do is, like, I would teach in every video, I would probably teach a hint of the basics. I would teach the origin story, and I would teach whatever, I don't know, the style of art. So, okay, for instance, and I might even reverse those. Hey, this is the X, Y, and Z picture. Here's the style of art that is, and here's the hint at the basics. For those of you who are new to the art game, here's what that means, right? Like, I don't even know. I can't even make up terms because I have no idea. Like,
photography, let's say.
Right, there you go, right? And then here is the origin story of the artist and this piece, right? And, like, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd probably give an idea, right? And this is where it's like, if I were, to acquire this, and I would use, like, language, right? Like, if I were to invest in this piece of art rather than buy this piece of art, that sort of thing. Like, I would put it up in a room like this where, where during dinner parties, people could see it and they could be inspired, and what this means to me. So I come up with a standard structure. That way you have more of an automated process for the next 25 videos, right? That's what I would do. And, like, don't stop that project until it's done. And that could be done as simple as today, or it might take you a week. But this is why I want to create that group of thought leaders, because I'm about to go off on myself too for the finance space. And it would just be do one project and then complete it, show everybody another project, complete it, boom, 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 boom. That's that would be my
now
challenge.
Does it have to be a video? Because, like, I sometimes do just, like, slideshows on Instagram with text on top, like my favorite painting from the art fair, next picture, close up with, like, a look at the detail with, like, an arrow. You know what I mean? Like, why do you think it should be a video? Why did you say video?
Yeah, so I think number one, video is more engaging. And I'm not saying only do video, but yes. I would definitely not do video. Okay. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. Like pictures with arrows and so on are phenomenal, but then it's missing a lot of texture. And I'm also missing out on you as the Yoda.
Yes.
Like, imagine
as the thought leader.
Imagine if Andrew Huberman just put static pictures with arrows on it. You wouldn't get all of the texture.
It would be 10 times worse than it already is.
Yeah, but I think for you, it's a great idea. But those are, I think, more about the satellites than they are the actual, like, presentation.
Yeah.
Dude,
now, and what would you like? What would it look like for you?
Oh, dude, so for me, it's endless. It's almost what I just said. Teaching the basics, teaching the fundamentals, then teaching a little deeper, and then giving origin stories of things. Like, so I could talk for hours about about currency. I could talk for hours about trading. I could talk for hours about like psychology around investing, all of those things. For me and for you, I'd say it's just stupid to not do this. I would say it's more actually it's stupid, and it's also selfish. If you really think you have something to offer out in the world, go and teach it. And for all the guys listening, it doesn't matter if you do it on the internet, if you do it in your office, if you do it in your family, but don't be greedy with your knowledge. And then if you feel like you don't have knowledge, which I can promise you do, but it's like, well, then go out and acquire more. Read the next book. Go and become the next micro expert on that next micro topic. I promise you. And that is where you will gain status with your hierarchy if you are valuable to that hierarchy. And one of the easiest ways to be valuable, and one of the best ways to be valuable, is to teach the people in your group, period.
Yeah. And it's like, it's what I'm already giving the small fraction of people that I end up getting the face-to-face with. And it's what you're already giving to the people to like, so if you blast out an invite, a small amount reply, a smaller amount still do the follow-up meeting.
Yep.
And a tiny amount actually show up. They get that thought, they get that charisma, thought leadership, origin story, little deeper, right? But through video, it's you are bridging, you're creating a bridge to all those maybes or could haves.
Yes.
Okay.
And for anybody who's getting stuck on the word teach, because some people are just like, oh, I'm not smart enough, I just can't teach. It's like, okay, don't think about it like that then. Just think about sharing, going and learning something from an expert, and then saying, hey guys, here's what I learned today from Andrew Huberman, or here's what I learned today from Jordan Peterson. I'm just sharing it with you. Like, no arrogance, no ego. You're just passing along a gift, and that's it. And if you can keep on doing that, and you do that on a regular basis, like, you will become a highly valued man in your group. There's no way that you can't. People are craving real knowledge that they can take action from, and especially not being sold that knowledge, in my opinion.
Yeah. Like,
don't be a salesperson, be a teacher and a sharer, and you will do phenomenally well in your field, with your family, with your friends, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you will be selling at the same time. Like, or right. Like, it's like, you don't stink like a salesman. Like, you don't like repel people the way a bad salesman does, but you will be achieving the goal of the salesman at the same time.
Yep.
Right. By communicating your expertise, you are the first person they will think of when they want art, to invest, to get fit, to hire someone with digital skills or
without a doubt
skills.
Yeah. And Lucas, thank you for I don't know if you saw that, but Lucas is saying he can help you with on the website side of putting together a course. I think that's awesome. So yeah, man. So I think we're right up against your time, but yeah, like, let's have an accountability thing there to create one video. Why don't we circle back offline, and then we'll bring it to the group of telling us. And if anybody wants to join, I would say, Jordan, please consider joining that as well.
He's the first guy I thought of.
Yep. 100%. So I'll be putting that group together. Ray, you and I, why don't we talk about it when you have a chance, and then we'll come up with some sort of deadline, and that'll push us all forward.
Hell yes. I'm going to have mine done within 1 week. Have a great weekend, guys.
You too, brother.
Have a kick-ass weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
All right, dudes. Later. Have a great weekend.